Hello, and welcome to Anxious at Bedtime, the podcast.
That's Cash.
I'm Cash, and that's Monica.
Hi.
We are co-hosts of this dang thing.
We sure are.
Indubitably. Well, do you have anything new?
Not necessarily new, but I saw a TikTok the other day that I thought would be fun to discuss on here. I think we kind of have talked about it before, but who cares?
What's that?
So it was posted by We Made It Together. That's their TikTok username.
Hell yeah.
And basically it was this guy talking about a haunted house, but his rent is cheap, so it's okay. I think you sent it to me.
Oh, yeah. That shit's hella funny.
Yeah, it was so funny, but it got me thinking, like, how much would you deal with if rent was super cheap?
You know me? Quite a fucking bit.
Yeah.
I have in the past, and I still would.
Yeah. I've been iffy in the past, but I think, yeah, I would deal with some pretty spooky shit.
Yeah, I deal with all the haunting.
All of it? Even, like, if it possessed you?
I don't think, no. I mean, depending on what the possession was, how long it lasted, and what it caused me to do, possibly.
So as long as you had clear boundaries.
Yeah, like, can I predict when? Then I don't have no guests then. How cheap is the rent? Like, how cheap are we talking, bro? And what's the neighborhood like? Like, if the neighborhood's hella fucking ideal still, but just the one house is a little weird, you know, yeah, like, hey, guys, can't have anybody over on Tuesdays or Sundays. And they're like, your ghost is fucking with you every Tuesday and Sunday? No, just Tuesdays. Sundays reserved for football. I'm saying.
That makes sense. But
yeah,
that's
I'd put
fair.
up with a lot of bullshit. Absolutely.
Especially if the house was really nice. I didn't think
Hella
about
nice,
that.
hella cheap,
Yeah.
hella haunted. Not my problem as long as I'm saving money.
That's my requirement, is the house has to be pretty nice.
And the discount's got to be pretty fucking substantial and reasonable. Moving on. So, you know about Blue Origin, right?
No.
That fucking spaceship with all the famous people in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
With
The
Katy
first
Perry.
all-female, I guess, propelled instrument to go outside of the atmosphere. So, I don't remember all the fucking people that were on it. I gotta look that up. But there was 6 famous people. They all went into space. Katy Perry was part of it. Lauren Sanchez was part of it. Jeff Bezos' fiance or wife, whoever the hell. You know, there was a bunch of people that, all just rich people, and they're talking about how they're offended that people are telling them that it was neat that they were rich and got to take a ride into space, and that they're trying to diminish their accomplishments. But at the same time, there's a lot of people saying, like, what accomplishments? You get, like, they went into space for 11 minutes. They followed this little loop that somebody else had already done. They followed a previous person. Like, you can't deem them as, in my mind, you can't really deem them as astronauts because, one, they didn't pilot it. It was remotely piloted. So they didn't have to turn a knob. They didn't have to do anything. They sat there and watched out a window. So they rode in it. And everyone who's saying that they rode in it, I think it's fair to say they rode in it. They didn't do anything. They didn't drive it.
Until the day that I get to go out into space, I'm considering it an accomplishment.
No, it's absolutely an accomplishment. They have money and could pay for a trip to go outside of the Earth's core, like outside of our atmosphere.
If they did.
That's dope. If they did, yeah. If it's not, just the filament, or firmament, however the fuck it is.
I just meant if they faked it.
And
I've seen
also,
those rumors, yeah.
That's where I was going on to. Absolutely. They're saying it's AI, it's CGI, like it's all animated, it's all fake, it never really happened. When Jeff Bezos opened the door, there's video evidence of them opening the door from the inside previously.
Yeah.
If you look at any aircraft, the door opens out, not in, because wind or air pressure.
That's fair.
There's a lot of little nuances to the whole thing that say, hey, this may have been staged. This may not have been real. Like, even worse than the fucking staging of the moon landing, if that was a staging. That was at least, even in modern technology, that's less disputable than this Blue Origin.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't believe it, but
I don't think they did.
There's definitely some weird videos that make me question.
Their hair is still just all perfect when they landed. Like, they didn't even wear a helmet. Every other person that ever leaves Earth's atmosphere has to wear a helmet and different precautionary measures because they're leaving the pressure of the Earth.
I thought that was only if you leave the ship.
No, they do it when they leave Earth's atmosphere. They have suits that help them with the pressure.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's all of it's wild. They just wore fucking yoga suits with, that was the other part where it kind of looks like a ship, but that little logo, you flip it upside down, it's like Baphomet. That's what people are saying. Yeah,
I didn't see that yet.
Yeah, you look at their logo and then flip it upside down, and it does look like a horned goat. Yeah, absolutely.
That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I've just seen a lot of weird stuff about it.
Yeah, me too. But a lot of it is, hey, all the science that you guys taught us in school and tell us that we need to listen to, these 6 individuals here are doing things that say that's not possible. So what's real, the science or what just happened?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is crazy, but I'm still jealous.
You know me, I'm the one. I'm a fucking doubter. That's fine. You can call me whatever, dude. But I doubt that shit happened. I don't believe it.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm jealous. Like I want to go, but I don't know if I want to go into space.
Yeah, I think they took a fucking at most they took an airplane ride a little bit higher than it normally goes. Like I
Yeah,
think
maybe.
that at most that's what that ship did. Any other aircraft of any kind, like even a fucking Boeing, even military aircraft, the windows aren't that big. They aren't shaped like that just because of the air pressure. I'm just basing a lot of this just off the fucking pressure of the air. If there really is a space, there's not a firmament, filament, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's firmament. Filament's that shit in the middle of a light bulb.
Maybe.
I'm silly. Anyways, I'm just saying the science that they gave us. I'm supporting the conspiracy theorists online that shit was not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I will say if they did go into space, like, yeah, absolutely, that's an accomplishment. You could pay for it to leave Earth's atmosphere, but you didn't do nothing. You paid money and sat there and looked out windows. Like, if somebody else drove a car and won a race and you're just sitting there taking the video, you weren't the one who won the race. You were there for it. Your accomplishment is you took the video.
That's fair. I
Right?
still think it's
Okay.
cool. If it really
It
did
is
happen,
cool.
I still
Like,
think it's super
if I had
cool.
the money to do it, fuck yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
Like, if I had the connects and the money and they're like, man, you want to, even if it's fake, I'm not going to lie. They're like, you want to film this shit and fucking go famous for it? Fuck yeah, dude. Let me get the money and make money off of it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not knocking them for it. I just don't believe they went to space.
I do want to mention that I think it's so fun that the rocket ship they were on was shaped like a penis.
Oh, yeah, that was also very fucking rude. The first all-female crew to go to space and then, like, make it look like a dick. Everyone that has a dude on it, make sure that those rockets just look like regular rockets, but this one, make sure it has a penis tip.
Yeah, see, at first I thought that it was like on purpose because it is an all-girl group and it was Katy Perry who's kind of known for being a bit more vulgar like that. But then I was thinking about it earlier and I realized she has no control over what the spaceship looks like.
Yeah,
So
she
that's-
didn't get to design it.
Yeah.
It's just they were like, hey, man, we're going to send 6 females. We got all the mechanics going. What are we doing? And they're like, make it a fucking dick.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Like, I feel like it was very intentional. It just felt fucked up.
Yeah, at first I was like, woo, girl power, Katy Perry, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that
now
would
it
be
feels like the
cool.
exact opposite. Like they're like, there's no men on here, but there's still going to be men.
Yeah,
in
we
spirit.
gotta have something.
Yeah.
Let's make sure I mean, if it wasn't that on the side of it, it would have been the face of the guy that designed it. Like, just painted on
Something.
the side of the ship. Like, on the belly, it's the guy's name.
Yeah.
Like, I did this. At some point, they had to.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably, yeah.
But I think that's all I've got. Do you have anything else?
I don't.
Mm.
Just suspicion that it didn't happen. That's about it.
Lots of suspicion. Okay, well then, I guess let's get started.
Oh, what are we getting started on?
Our episode.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do it then.
Welcome back to Anxious at Bedtime, where the shadows are long and the questions are many. Tonight, we're diving deeper into the world of Ouija boards. If you missed part 1, we took a deep dive into the mysterious origins of the Ouija board.
Yeah, we even talked about other stuff.
We did.
People closing their eyes and drawing.
Yeah, we did. Tonight is about what happens when you decide to give it a try.
Ooh.
So,
Is it magic?
no.
Oh.
Well, kind of. Hold
Maybe.
on. So before you light some candles and decide to try a Ouija board for yourself, let's talk about how to properly and safely use one.
Okay, hold on. While we're on this topic, this is the perfect time for me to ask how to safely use one. Do you have to light the candles? Is that part of it? Can you go without the candles? Because what if you catch it on fire?
See, I couldn't find a great answer on that.
Because every time you see a depiction of a Ouija board and somebody actively using it, it does have candles.
Yeah, I think that just adds to
The flair, right?
the ambiance, but also some people believe that because it is a form of seance, it kind of like dims down all of your other senses because it's dark. So, you can't see, you're not as distracted. and then it makes it easier for you to put all of your energy into summoning.
Right. So, what if I used like nightlight?
I think that could still work because the candle thing. So later in the episode, we'll get into like the rules and the do's and don'ts and all of that type of stuff. But I didn't include candles, I don't think, because I couldn't find a clear and concise answer about candles. Some people say you should always light 2 black candles.
Ooh.
Yeah, for protection.
Very particular.
Other people say you should only ever use white candles, and if you use black candles, you're summoning a demon.
Oh, that's people trying to say the yin and yang, the light and dark.
Something, but so yeah, I couldn't find a clear answer, and I did not feel comfortable saying like, hey, use black candles or use white candles. I don't know. So if you know and you're listening, email us, and I will put that in the next part.
I wish there was like some science behind this, but as we found out just a few moments ago, sometimes science don't make no sense. You can still fly a random ass rocket into space and it doesn't follow any science.
It's true.
But, we'll see.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the safety of these Ouija boards.
Okay.
Please.
First up, I want to talk about when to use one.
Hopefully while you're awake.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's a
Could
good
you
time.
imagine if you like woke up and saw your roommate playing the Ouija board and you're like, dude, what are you doing? And then they woke up and they're like,
man,
oh.
they're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then there's a fucking demon and it's like, oh, what am I doing? Like, that'd be crazy, dude. I hope you get that on film. If anybody has that on film, send that to us, please.
Yeah.
I want to watch that.
Oh, that'd be so scary.
Oh, it'd be so entertaining, though. Again, I would deal with that in my haunted house. If that's like, if I knew what day of the week to plan it,
That's
if
fair.
you're doing it
Yeah.
random times, dude, that's pretty rude. But at least, mostly nobody comes to our house. It's just me and you. I think it would be all right.
Yeah, so basically everything comes back to
It's
boundaries.
gonna happen.
As long as we have clear and concise boundaries.
No butt stuff.
No, oh my gosh, no probe zone.
Yeah, dude. I fucking wear that shirt.
I'll make it.
All right.
But back to the board. So yeah, apparently there's not really like bad times.
Like 6 p.m.'s a no-go.
Yeah, it's not quite like that.
Like the ghosts are busy. That's shift change. Please respect it.
Yeah, it's not like that. But you should not play if you are emotionally vulnerable in any way.
Also, like if you're happy, you're fucking stop. If you're sad,
No.
nuh-uh.
If you're happy, it's fine. But that means like don't play if you're angry, if you are dealing with depression at the moment, if you're like very afraid to play the Ouija board, don't do it.
I feel like that's when most people do it, is when
Yeah.
they're emotionally vulnerable, like when they lost somebody and they're trying to communicate because they're ultra sad and depressed.
Yeah.
Or if they're just like super bored and scared and they're like, oh, I like fear, let's try it. That's most of what happened. Yeah, that's usually when people play it.
And
Don't do that is what she's saying, though.
Yeah, that's probably why so many people have bad stories.
That's probably, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know that. You're not supposed to play if you're feeling anything besides calm and relaxed, pretty
Yeah,
much.
so it kind of follows the same rules as taking mushrooms.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. Not that we know anything about that, but allegedly you're not supposed to do it if you're sad
Well, we know you're not
Angry.
supposed to do that, but we've never done mushrooms.
or at all, I hear.
We are very
Not even on
boring.
Especially not on your pizza, dude. I tried those one pizza mushrooms and disgusting in my mouth.
Yeah, we
Then I-
found out you're allergic to mushrooms
Yeah,
when you...
well, I was getting there. I was going to tell them about that one time I tried those one mushrooms in a bag that's supposed to be really good for your health.
The lion's mane.
Lion's mane and all that mixture, that stuff. I took some. Me and my wife, same stuff. She was fine. Me, damn hospital, bro. That was crazy.
They thought he had appendicitis.
And they thought I was dying.
Yeah.
They were like, dude, you probably just got to get a whole new abdomen. Like everything inside, outside. We'll probably give you a 6-pack. Fucked up, told them it was the mushroom. And they're like, oh, just stop doing that, dude. You're stuck fat. But, at least you know not to do mushrooms. So I'll never experience that. But the Ouija, right? Like, same rules, huh?
Same rules, yeah. I don't even know where I was.
I'm sorry.
Basically, yes. If your energy is different, you shouldn't play because, first of all, your emotions could subconsciously cause you to skew the results.
So if you have like ADHD, is that just going to confuse whatever you're interacting with? Is that like not
Maybe.
recommended?
But that reminds me of another thing. You shouldn't use a Ouija board if you have any mental health issues.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So if you're feeling super angry and you're using the board and you're like wanting to know a specific answer, you could subconsciously give yourself that answer and it's not actually something coming through talking to you. It's kind of you answering yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The same goes for like grief. If you are trying to talk to a family member
You're
or a
gonna
loved one.
force a reaction, force an answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that organicness.
Yeah. So you need to go in with a clear mind. What's that phrase from Friday Night Lights? Clear mind, full heart?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Open heart? No, not open heart. That's gross. I don't know, but it ends in can't lose.
Can't lose. Did they ever lose when they said that?
Yeah, they lost a few times.
So don't fucking use that one.
They started out really bad, right?
I don't know. I never watched it.
I haven't watched that
was it
in so
Friday
long.
Night Lights?
Yeah, that TV show.
Yeah, I don't know.
The second reason why you should go in with a clear mind is spirits can allegedly feed off of your emotions. And like attracts like, right? So if you are in a negative headspace, you potentially could attract more negative entities to you instead of positive entities.
So does that mean I can't really cheer up a demon?
I don't think so.
Because I'm in a good mood, so they're not going to appear? I'm attracting a positive energy force instead?
That's a good question.
So I can't cheer up a demon. There goes one of the fucking things on my bucket list. Can't do that.
Dang.
Make a demon smile. Some bitch.
This also means you should not play while intoxicated. We actually just learned this a while ago. We did a ghost hunt, and I was looking up all of the, like, do's and don'ts. And yeah, if you've been drinking, if you've been partaking in the devil's lettuce or anything else, you should not use a Ouija board.
Apparently not the mushrooms either. They have the same rules, but don't do them together.
Yeah. Basically, you just want to be as in control as possible.
I dig that.
The next thing you should take into consideration is the time of year. If you want to really heighten your chances of connecting with the spirit, the veil is thought to be the thinnest during Beltane, which is from the last day of April into May 1st, so that's coming up. And the second, of course, is Samhain, which is the last day of October into November 1st. So there's not really like blackout days that I could find. It's just if you want to increase your chances, do it on those days. Or if you want to lessen your chances, do it any other day than those.
So I see your game here. You're releasing this episode right before we have that number one day, so you can see our chances of anybody giving us any feedback, what they experience. I dig it. Okay.
Yeah.
Game recognized game. Got you.
Let us know if you play.
Please.
But don't play just because of us either.
Yeah, we're not liable.
No.
For anything that you experience, anything that happens during, after, before, none of that. We're not liable. We're not recommending. We're not suggesting. Do it at your own risk.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Full moons, of course, are another great time to do it, including the 3 days leading up to a full moon. I didn't know that. So if there's a chance that you can't do it on the full moon, it's better to do it any of the 3 days before than the day after. Just, again, to increase your likelihood of actually connecting to something. Again, otherwise, if that's not a big deal to you, you can do it whenever.
You might even connect to somebody in the Intergalactic Federation living in the moon.
Maybe.
More conspiracy theories. Keep going.
Oh, okay. However, you should try to not use a Ouija board during a new moon. And that's just because it's not like a no-no day. It's just because people believe that when you use a Ouija board, you kind of like harness the energy of the moon. And so if there's no moon, new moon, there's less likelihood of you connecting to something.
I thought
less
new
energy.
moon was when like all the energies and spirits were like, hey man, we just got the new intake, the new outtake. People are coming and going. We don't have time to communicate with the living world. We're fucking busy, dude. This is our Super Bowl.
That's the real shift change is new moons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dude. Like they got a lot of shit going on. Leave them alone. That's the end of their fiscal year. That's their busiest day. They don't have time for the living. They're not gonna respond. How many new moons are there in a year?
12.
So they got once a month, basically, right? So like every month they gotta close their books. I get it.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
makes sense.
transactional thing.
Yeah. But did you know you can also choose the day of the week to help boost the experience you're after as well?
They're probably pretty busy Friday, Saturday doing hauntings and stuff, right? And then Sundays they're pretty busy at church and,
Not so much.
Oh.
So Mondays are ruled by the moon, which has a very feminine energy associated with it, right? Because it's always been connected to like women's cycles, women's moods, stuff like that.
All right.
So that's why Monday's believed
That's
to be
fair.
one of...
I did know that. I don't know why I'm acting brand new. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So that's why it's believed that Monday is one of the best days to contact female spirits. Mondays are also a great time to ask questions about magic and your fears.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Face your fears on a Monday.
Yeah.
Like, I had all weekend to fucking just do stupid shit. Let's figure this shit out. It's Monday.
Let's do it.
Let's adult.
Now, Tuesdays are ruled by Mars, which we attribute to war, right?
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
So this is a good day to ask about anything that requires strength or courage.
Like, should I fist fight that guy at Ross if he gets in my way again?
Kinda. It's a good time for asking about health, war, things that make you angry, like fist fighting people at the store.
Should I go to the doctor if this pimple pops up again? Like, okay, I don't know if the Ouija's going to answer these questions. Probably don't ask those, huh?
Probably not.
All right.
So anything like that you're fearful of or need some sort of courage to face, Tuesdays are good days for that. Wednesdays are ruled by Mercury. Oh my gosh, I can't say that right
Wednesdays are ruled by Mercury.
Mercury. There you go. Which makes it all about communication.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If you really want to talk, they're talkative Wednesdays. See, hump day, they're bored.
This makes it a great time to seek answers regarding communication, legal issues, education, travel, technology, and business.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, hey man, I gotta know if I should sink my money in on this or not. And they're like I ain't got shit else going on. It's fucking Wednesday. It's hump day. Yeah. Ask questions on the Ouija. Fire away. Let's go. Rapid fire. What do you got?
Kinda.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So if you're fucking stock trading,
Yeah. Wednesday's a good time to ask.
all right.
Now, Thursdays are ruled by Jupiter, the largest and most powerful planet. So Thursdays are a great day for manifesting, which makes it a great day to ask questions about wisdom, leadership, politics, prosperity, work. If you're thinking about a new job, you should ask on Thursdays. If you're trying to decide between two jobs, Thursdays.
Fuck yeah. So Thursday is when you figure your shit out, when you're adult. When you're like, look, man, it's time to get real. It's almost Friday. It's almost the weekend. Time to fuck up, and I can't talk to you. Do I send this wisely worded email? Do I send it? Do I say this?
That might be communication day.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
This was business.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is.
that's what I was saying too. Yeah, I took business.
But see, they all kind of like intermingle a little bit too. So I don't think it's that big of a deal what day you use. But
So again, so it's like Chat GPT or like AI as a whole. Is it another version of the Ouija? Because you have to fine tune it. It speaks to everything, no matter what you ask it.
I don't want to think about that right now.
Oh, okay.
Then we have Fridays, which are ruled by Venus. This makes it perfect for
shit.
Yeah, asking about love, sex, family, relationships.
See, like when you're trying to get it on the weekend, you're like, do I fucking go? Which club do I go to? Yeah, that's when you try to figure out. Do you find a new non-platonic relationship with another person, or are you like, hey, do I holler at that person again? Oh yeah, no, dude, that's all about the booty call. Go on.
It really is booty call, and then of course like family.
Well, yeah, you create a family sometimes on accident by that booty call.
Yeah.
Sometimes you ain't got the protection.
But Fridays are also a great day, obviously, to ask like, what is the initial of the person that I might marry one day, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, because they just want to be like, fuck, dude, I got plans this weekend, so it's a J. It's a J. Just go for a fucking J. Is there more to it? And they're like, no, good night, GN.
That is something I was thinking about the entire time I was doing this episode. Could you imagine? Because obviously we did that episode where we talked about us as ghosts, okay? So imagine the ghosts are just people like us, or spirits like our spirit, you know what I mean? And it's not this all-knowing, all-wise entity.
It's just me.
It's just random people being like, watch, hold on, let me see if I can get her to believe this.
And that's why people have some badass experiences, and some people are like, I got a great one because they got a fucking great philosopher, and then other people get like me.
Yeah.
And they're like, this guy's got ideas. They're pretty fucking dumb, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, or like, what's his name? The guy from Ghost that never wears pants. Like, imagine him behind a Ouija board.
Fuck yeah, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. It is luck of the draw.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, it depends on what you believe about afterward. Like, maybe we learn from all of our past experiences, and we are all knowing in the afterlife, and that, anybody could help. It's just what their intent is with your intent mixed. Or maybe we really are just reaching out to random ass, entities and energies, and sometimes those people or those that we reach out to really only have the same knowledge they left this earth with, and they ain't very far into it. Maybe you're dealing with a baby and they're like, oh, that looks like a pretty cool letter, and they move the planchette to like the P or the D because they're like, those look pretty cool. Oh, look, that's squiggly. And they move it to the S, and you're like, what the? PTSD, oh my gosh. And it's really not. It's just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I hope it's not that.
I hope
No,
it's
I kind of
not.
hope it is because
Yeah, it's
that'd
kind
be
of
even more
iconic.
fun too. Like,
Yeah. It's like their Friday night fun, right? Like they get everybody together to sit around and hope somebody pulls out a Ouija board so they can go tell it dumb stuff. And they're like daring each other, like, okay, you do this one. Say dog or some dumb stuff.
bet you won't call him a chicken. Yeah. That's wicked.
It completely changes my perception of Ouija board.
That's a fucking whole ass cartoon on Netflix right there. It should be.
I'd watch it, yeah. But next, we have Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting for this one.
Yeah, which is ruled by Saturn, which is the planet of karma and self-discipline. So Saturdays are a good day to ask about ending relationships or jobs, death, transformations, that type of stuff. Then we have Sunday, which is ruled by the sun. So it's associated with things like health, blessings, confidence, fame. It's a good time to ask questions involving emotional and spiritual growth, work success, and happiness.
Again, work.
But it's different aspects of work. So Sundays, the success, like, am I getting this promotion? Saturdays is, should I leave this job? And then Thursdays is like the manifestation day. So you could ask, like, am I ever going to get a better job?
Oh, so Thursday you're like, man, am I going to get this promotion? Like, am I going to get a good job? And then Friday you're like, fuck it, I'm quitting. Saturday you're like, I'm done. And Sunday you're like, man, I got a new job. I'm pretty all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of my early 20s.
Yeah, so that's just a fun little tidbit. If you want to help, I guess, like strengthen whatever the answers you're trying to seek, you know, you could always play around with the days of the week.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to know. I learned that just now.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk about where to not use a Ouija board.
Definitely not under the covers in bed by yourself.
That would be a weird place, yeah.
Yeah, because especially if you got to have that candle, you're for sure going to catch something on fire. I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's underwater.
That's probably another good one.
Unless you're in like a submarine and somewhere where you can breathe oxygen and get a clear answer.
Or you're a mermaid.
Ooh.
You shouldn't use a Ouija board in a cemetery.
Oh, yeah. They probably frown upon that.
Yeah. Besides obvious reasons, you don't want to risk upsetting mourners. A lot of people think Ouija boards are evil, and imagine somebody grieving and then seeing something that they consider evil being used to potentially contact their loved one.
Like, are you getting a hold of mine or yours?
Yeah.
You're a little close here.
Yeah.
Can you scoot down if it's yours? If it's mine, can you not?
With that said, you should also keep in mind that the actual spirits you are trying to contact might have the same belief. So just, if you do ever use one, no matter where you use it, just be respectful. If it seems like the spirit doesn't want to use it, don't try to push it out of them, because think about how many people you know now that believe that Ouija boards are evil and don't want to be anywhere near them.
Yeah, that's fair, but, you would expect if it's a way to communicate that in death, they would have a different outlook on it. But they may not, especially if it's an early death and it's their first interaction or first knowledge of somebody trying to contact them through one, and that's their last knowledge of it. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Again, it brings me back to Ghost with Hetty. How when the show first started, she was so like still stuck in all of her old ways. You also shouldn't use a Ouija board in a place with a tragic history, such as murders.
Well, that's fucked up. That's like where people really want to use it.
Yeah. And so that's another one of those weird areas. Oh, that's what I wanted to say in the beginning. Hold on. I want to preface this episode by saying we are not experts.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. Not even in the slightest.
No.
We barely know anything.
We barely know anything.
I don't know shit. I'm just listening to her and I'm learning as we go.
Yeah, for all he knows, I'm making every single piece up.
Yeah.
But we are not experts. We don't claim to know everything about all of this type of stuff.
I'm telling you, I don't know shit.
It's just based off of research that I do. And of course, every source online has a different answer to a lot of these questions, like just the candle thing that I mentioned earlier. There's tons of different answers, tons of different reasons.
A lot of this is based off belief.
Yeah, everything is so personal, exactly. So there's going to be inconsistencies, but if we get anything like blatantly wrong, email us and let us know, and I will correct it on the next episode.
We're not intentional about getting it wrong. We're just ignorant.
Yeah, that's all it is. Like I said in part 1, we are all learning together. And yeah, if we got anything wrong, let us know. Email us.
At anxiousatbedtimepodcast@gmail.com.
All that I ask is that you be nice because, like I said, I'm not trying to intentionally get things wrong. I do work really hard trying to find out the correct answer, but a lot of this has very mixed reviews.
Very mixed.
But back to it. A lot of people believe that you shouldn't use a Ouija board in a place with a tragic history because I don't know. I guess the answer is like there's too much energy and there's too much negativity, and so the possibility of communicating with something really bad is heightened.
Understandable.
Yeah, and because sometimes where there's tragic events, it leaves open like a portal.
Ooh.
Yeah, where things can just come and go, like a doorway, like Insidious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Another place you shouldn't play is in front of a mirror, because again, it's believed that mirrors can act as portals, and you don't want things just coming in and out.
Oh, yeah. You just get a hold of Bloody Mary instantly.
Woof. It's also recommended to never play in your own home.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't want to keep anything there. You don't want to invite anything in and then have to live with it.
Exactly.
Unless
they pay
you're
rent.
trying to really drop the rent price and let me move in, dude. We'll talk. Email us at anxiousatbedtimepodcast@gmail.com. Let me know. I'll learn to play.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to open up a portal in your own home.
Unless, like I said.
Yeah. But that does kind of have me wondering, if you can't play in a cemetery, you can't play somewhere with tragic history, you can't play in your own home, where do you play? Like a park?
You go to a friend's home. You're like, hey, I got this really cool board game. And they're like, what is it? And by the time you open it, you're already fucked.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's here.
Maybe.
Let's do it in the garage.
Ooh, there you go. A garage.
Did it give you any recommendations?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, we're not going to tell you where to do it, but just don't do it anywhere.
Yeah. Just don't do it, I think is the point.
But do it, please. Do it. It's so much fun. You learn so much. These are the days, the reasons. This is why you ask. This is how they give you all the guidance. And they're like, don't do it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Next, and probably most important, protection. You could do everything else right, but if you don't protect yourself, you could still end up with a nightmare story to email us. There are 3 forms of protection that you should aim for. The first is from too much empathy. The best way I've seen it explained is everybody has chi, which is like your life energy. If your chi is off, it can cause you a lot of problems. If you have too much chi flowing through you, it can cause you to feel agitated, anxious, and even dizzy and nauseated. It can also cause you to be too empathetic to the point that you're feeling other people's emotions so strongly that it's detrimental to you and your mental health. You shouldn't be furious because someone near you is angry. You shouldn't be consumed with grief because someone near you is dealing with grief. It's one thing to feel empathy, it's another for it to be negatively affecting you.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So you want to keep that in check. But on the other hand, if you have too little chi flowing through you, it can cause you to feel depressed, completely drained, and exhausted, even confused. So it's important to keep your chi in check because you don't want all of those emotions from a spirit, but you also don't want to risk putting yourself in a bad place energetically for something to get through and latch on. Or, back to what we were mentioning earlier, you don't want something trying to match your energy, and if you're in a bad place, something else in a bad place trying to come through.
Yeah, so you better check your chi.
Yeah, check your chi.
And the second one you already know is condoms.
No.
Oh.
To balance your chi, you just have to do some grounding. One popular way of doing this that a lot of people might already do is basically picturing roots growing from your feet and going deep into the earth.
Unless you're one of those people that you have a phobia of that kind of stuff.
What do you mean?
People got phobias of their limbs turning into tree limbs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then don't do that.
Yeah. Then if that's you, don't do that. Do it a different way.
But picture the roots growing from your out of your feet into the earth with energy and light flowing freely through. If you're using a Ouija board and you start feeling off in any way, quickly start visualizing that again, and that should help. Another one is one that I used to do a lot, but I didn't know it was grounding, but I'm pretty sure it could work here, is close your eyes and picture your body full of shadows or dark smoke. With every inhale, you breathe in golden white light, and with every exhale, you breathe out the dark smoke. And you keep repeating that until you've exhaled all of the smoke, leaving your body filled with nothing but the light.
All right.
Are you doing it?
No, I'm not.
The second protection you'll want to do is protecting yourself from being possessed. I never thought of this before, but you can't completely block yourself off from being possessed if you want to actually communicate with spirits through a Ouija board, because the spirits have to use your hands to push the planchette. So,
Yeah, some sort of communication.
yeah, some sort of possession
Physical.
going on there, yeah. So a good way to protect yourself but still keep communication open is to picture a large net covering your body. Evil spirits are stopped by the barrier of the net, but good spirits can get in through the little holes.
Terrible. Terrible. I don't like that.
That's how you're supposed to visualize it.
Like, the evil spirits are like, oh man, a net. And the good ones are like, nothing for me.
If you mentally put that barrier there, yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. But you have to, like, add that part, otherwise...
Like, I'm not letting none of you bitches through, so subconsciously you're creating that where your subconscious is going to block any bad entity coming through. I get that.
Yeah.
But still, that net, I never really watched The Walking Dead, but I heard people complain about they put up, like, some tooth floss thin rope that would decapitate zombies running at them.
Oh.
And that's what it reminds me of. Like, oh no, this rope's going to stop the whole ass demon. I'm like, oh, fuck, it's almost all the way enclosed. I can't get through that hole. Hey, how's that nice guy doing it? Wish I could. What? What's stopping you?
So if you're like Cash and you don't like that one, there was another one that I read that you could do where basically you picture like different rainbow layers covering your body. And so with each entity, they have to get through all 7 layers, right?
Oh.
And so the evil ones get stopped at certain colors, and then the good entities can get all the way through.
What if you're colorblind?
But evil entities that make it up. But evil entities...
You don't know what they look like.
You know enough, right? I don't know.
I'm not colorblind. I'm fine.
But evil entities get stopped.
Not that you're not fine if you're colorblind. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. So that's another thing that you could try.
Not bad. There's at least other ideas, see?
The third protection goes hand in hand with this, with the net, and is protection from evil entities using the board. I kind of think the second one could work here, the net, but I found a ritual in the book called Spirit Boards for Beginners by Alexandra Churin. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. It's a very informative book, and the author is a second-generation fortune teller.
Ooh.
Yeah, so she has a lot of knowledge. But she says you can do a casting circle to further protect yourself.
With salt?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
For this, you can sweep the room where you will use the board. You need to sweep physically with a broom or picture yourself sweeping. You need to walk counterclockwise 3 times. The first time, sweep the floor. The second time, sweep the air around your midsection like your belly. And the third time, sweep the sky. And as you're doing that, you're imagining sweeping away evil spirits, clearing out the room. Make sure everyone who will use the board knows where this circle of sweeping is. Ideally, the board will be in the center of the circle. If somebody leaves the circle, it can weaken the protection. So you want to try to prevent people from leaving if you can.
Understandable. They break the protection. They break the barrier. Get it?
You can physically mark out the circle with something like salt or chalk if you want to.
A spray paint.
But you don't have to. To close the circle after using the Ouija board, face the western side of the circle and chop it with your hand. Like imagine chopping through it. Then stretch out your dominant hand and visualize the circle, like the energy from the circle, getting sucked into your arm and released through your feet into the universe. And picture that as you walk counterclockwise again 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, like a little vacuum. Then clean your circle. So if you laid out salt, vacuum it. If you spray painted, I guess find some way to clean that up. So maybe don't use spray paint.
Or you just paint over it. Something else.
There you go. Most people that I know of protect themselves by cleansing their space with things such as incense, Palo Santo, that type of thing. Yeah. You could ring a bell. You could lay out crystals. If you want to do all of it, hell, why not, you know? You also should probably cleanse the board itself before you start.
Yeah, that's wise.
Yeah, because things could potentially attach to the board. You don't want that. And to do that, you just waft an incense, like the smoke from an incense, over it. And for good measure, you could say a protection prayer. One that I found on WikiHow,
All right.
yeah, is I clear the space of all negativity. I clear the space of the energy of people or things that have no purpose here. I ask that this clearing be gentle and that all of this energy be returned to its source.
Polite, respectful.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the rules to play.
Oh, you got to be 18 or older.
Again, these are commonly accepted rules for playing, not hard and fast rules. Number 1, be polite.
Oh, I usually am.
Remember that the spirits you're talking to are people, hopefully.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Could have been at one point at least.
Don't be rude. You're also asking them for their time. Don't treat them like shit. Be respectful, be polite. Say thank you, you know. Also, if you're polite, you are more likely to stay on the good side of any spirit and maybe get like real answers. If you're an asshole,
they might send their big homie to get you.
I was just going to say they might not be responsive at all if you start being a dick.
Well,
But
no,
maybe.
that's when they're like, you know what, dude, we ain't even going to talk to you. We're just going to stay in your house. We're going to stay wherever you're at, and we're just going to fucking start poltergeisting you.
That too. Number 2, never play alone.
Yeah, nobody will believe your stories if you're by yourself.
Well, that. But also, if something happens to you, somebody else should be there to close out the board if you can't. Number 3, never play with more than 6 people at once.
You get confused. Too many people, they make shit up.
Kinda, yeah, because you can't really know for sure that nobody is making it move. That's a lot of people to kind of suss out.
Especially with a small planchette.
Yeah. But also, it's believed that this gives potential entities too much power to, like, feed off of.
Ooh.
Yeah, which can make them more of a danger. Number 4, everyone participating should agree on the questions that will be asked. You can write them out beforehand, but there should also be one person asking the questions. It shouldn't be a free-for-all. Keep things neat and orderly, and then that should also help everybody stay calm, too.
That's fair. Good advice. It's not like one of those, like all your TV shows and all those game shows when everybody meets up after watching it and they get to yell at each other. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't remember what those are called.
Reunions?
Yeah, the TV reunions. Don't do that shit.
The reality shows, yeah. I love those.
Not for Ouija, you don't.
No. Number 5, everyone should place 2 fingers on the planchette.
Not 4.
Not 4. I know, I was expecting to see 4 too, but...
Well, not if you got 6 people.
Yeah.
That's 48 fingers.
It's not 48, but it's a lot of fingers. Number 6, if the spirit says goodbye, respect it.
Don't fucking yell at it. No. You ain't going nowhere. Let me talk to your manager.
Yeah. Don't Karen out on the ghost, please.
Unless you want to, then email us. Let us know how it went.
Number 7, start with simple yes or no questions. Once you start with that, it can kind of like not only help settle everybody playing or everybody using the Ouija board into using it, but it can also help if a ghost is like struggling to get up the energy. It can kind of help to ease into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you can move on to harder questions. But remember to start slow. So you don't want to immediately jump into how did you die? Number 8, never fully trust the spirit you're talking to.
Yeah, they can be liars. You can't even see them.
Yeah. Like, even if it tells you it's Grandma Christie, like, you don't know for sure. Just be careful. Anything could lie to you, especially negative entities.
Yeah, maybe it's player 5.
Yeah. What? Oh.
Yeah, he's rearranging that shit. He's like, here, we're going to answer. I'm bored.
Yeah. So just never put too many eggs into one basket.
Yeah, don't be too trusting.
Mm-hmm. Number 9, never ask when you will die.
Oh, yeah. That's probably not recommended.
Yeah.
Gives you unreasonable fear for no reason.
Exactly. At the very least, it can fuck with your quality of life because you're looking over your shoulder constantly thinking, it's coming. Like, I know it's supposed to be happening in the next 3 months. And then even if it doesn't, you just had this horrible quality of life for 3 months, you know?
And you're still going to expect it.
Yeah.
More so than you do your regular day.
Yeah. So just don't. Number 10, don't use the board for longer than 2 hours.
Yeah, you're going to get tired and lie to yourself.
Not just that. I'm sure, yeah, the hand cramps. Oh, man. But, again, it's giving out too much energy. And if something bad comes through, it can be hard to close the session.
Yeah, you're way too tired for that.
Yeah. Number 11.
Don't share any of your personal information over the phone.
That should be one.
It should.
No. Always close the board by saying goodbye and moving the planchette to goodbye.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it's like...
Again, I do that with my AI.
Yeah, not just... Yeah, I always say goodbye and thank you and all that.
I say hello, thank you, all the pleasantries. I say thank you, goodbye.
But, no, it's like if you get a call, sometimes if the other person doesn't hang up or whatever, like the call can just keep going, you know? And then you look down and you're like, oh, shit, I hope my boss didn't just overhear all that.
Shit about them.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure you physically hang up end the conversation by moving the planchette to goodbye.
Fair enough.
Number 12, cleanse the board after each use. So it's one thing if you want to cleanse the board before you use it, but you should definitely be cleansing it after each use.
I will. Well, not that I'm using the board or anything, but...
And number 13, never store the planchette and the board together.
Oh, because it'll talk to itself?
Yeah, because it's leaving the portal open. It's leaving that doorway open. So I see a lot of people put the board on their wall and then they hang up the planchette next to it, but don't leave the planchette on the board.
I would just put the planchette like somewhere else, different room.
Right? I would put it in a different room, yeah. As far away as possible.
That shit. Or put the fucking board back in a box and the planchette on the dresser.
Yeah, something.
They can't touch, or they can't even see each other.
Yeah. Next up, signs that you should immediately end the session. Number 1, the planchette goes to all 4 corners.
At the same time? That's weird.
No, that would definitely, I'd be like,
it's like a factory reset. It It turns into 4. All 4. I'd be like, yeah, how do we end this? Mm-hmm. All 4 have to go to goodbye?
Number 2, the planchette starts drawing figure 8s.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to stay open for infinity.
Kinda, yeah. Number 3, the planchette starts counting down numbers. So it moves from 9 to 8 to 7 to 6.
At what point do you stop it? At like 3? That's far enough, fucker. Goodbye.
I think as soon as you realize it's starting to do it.
You don't chance it.
Yeah, don't chance it.
Yeah.
But
you're no fun.
Those first 3 are allegedly all signs that a negative entity might be trying to come through and escape the board.
Ooh, escape it. All of a sudden you're going to have a person standing in front of you and it's like, fuck yeah, thanks guys.
That'd be wild.
Thought you were going to stop me at 3, but you let me get all the way to 1.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, you're dying. We had to swap places.
It's just a nice little spirit trying to prove that, like, look, I know how to count.
It's like, I told you I could count backwards, officer. Now shit, where's the officer? Do I still have the DUI?
Oh my gosh.
Who are you people? That's fucked up.
Yeah. Number 4, if the planchette spells out Z-O.
What if you asked where you should go and it was about to tell you the zoo, but you never got to the end because you got scared right at Z-O?
Well, that sucks. You're not going to the zoo. Those 2 letters spelled twice, like XOXO, but with a Z, is a very powerful demon that's associated with Ouija boards. Even just saying its name can, like, conjure it, allegedly, but especially if it starts spelling it on a Ouija board, a lot of people believe that that's either that demon trying to come through or another spirit trying to warn you that, hey, that demon is around. So if it tries spelling that out or any demon's name, just close it out.
Oh, that's fair.
Number 5, if the spirit you're talking to won't answer when it was born. So if you're asking, like, what year were you born, and it's not giving you an answer.
It's because it's a demon. It doesn't have a born.
Yeah. You can also ask, when did you die? But some spirits aren't going to know that, you know?
Yeah.
Number 6, if the spirit seems hostile, either it's grumpy and it doesn't want to talk, or it could be a negative entity, just...
What if it's a personality trait? Like, your grandpa's really just fucking grumpy all the time, and he's like that in death.
Do you want to risk it?
Maybe. What
That's
if I
one
really
of those
want to
things.
talk to him?
That's one of those things that's up to you, but it's a general rule of thumb.
All right.
And number 7, someone starts feeling uneasy or scared. So if somebody that's using the Ouija board with you is starting to, basically back to the beginning of the episode, feel any sort of strong emotions or feel like they're not in a good place mentally to be playing, just end the game. You can start again without them if you would like. But that
Remove
person,
that player.
yeah, that person should not be. I feel weird using the word player so much in playing.
Well, it is a game.
Yeah, but it still feels weird, you know?
I get that, but it's a game.
Yeah. Now, as we talked about in part 1, the Ouija board hasn't always had the negative stigma around it. At one point, it was the equivalent of bringing Monopoly or Cards Against Humanity out during dinner parties.
Monopoly is way too long. I'll be mad.
That all changed with the release of one movie in 1973, The Poltergeist.
Oh, it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's about a girl that plays with the Ouija board and gets possessed by a demon. Then, do you know what happened a few years after that movie was released?
No, what was that?
Satanic Panic.
Well, son of a bitch.
From the 1980s and into the 90s, there was a widespread fear-mongering that happened, causing people to just lose their minds. People believed everything was evil. There were cults hiding under their beds. Rock music stole your souls. Eyeliner meant you sold your soul to the devil. Like, it was wild.
Well, you did have people like the Night Stalker Richard Ramirez that,
Yeah, I'm
claimed
not
to
saying
be satanic. So, I mean, he goes into that whole macabre kind of era, fed into it, and probably helped some of that fear mongering, yeah.
I do wonder how much of that was people feeding into the fear mongering that was already happening, or the fears that were already happening.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that they were completely
Based off of the fears.
completely unvalid, but a lot of it was wild.
Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely.
Like, excessive. It was basically a modern day witch trial, and it really shaped a lot of the world as we know it today. There were even countless true crime cases where basically the wrong people were put away because somebody liked rock music. And they're like, oh, if that kid listens to rock music, he was definitely the one that did it.
Had to have.
Yeah, a lot of negative stuff came from this fear that there were just cults everywhere and Satanists everywhere.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Wild times.
I think, honestly, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the people that were kids during the cult boom of the 60s and 70s were then adults during the 80s and 90s, and they never dealt with that fear and trauma and that childhood PTSD. You know?
Yeah.
So, Satanic Panic. It was also at this time that the church really got involved.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. They had a huge part in the Satanic Panic
Absolutely.
agenda. Yeah. And the church even tried to have Ouija boards banned altogether.
A lot of books and the Ouija board. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And basically, ever since then, there's been this split. People either believe Ouija boards are pure evil and can do no good, or they're simply a tool used to communicate, like a cell phone.
Well, I mean, I'd rather an interactive digital display, but yeah.
Yeah. Then, of course, you have the people that don't believe it works at all. The most popular theory among these groups is that Ouija boards work because of the ideomotor effect. The ideomotor effect, super simplified, is basically small muscle movements that are done subconsciously. So if you've ever seen any sort of crime TV show from the 21st century, even the 20th century, this is what they're talking about when they talk about microfacial expressions. And they're like, oh, that person looked up to the right. That means they're lying. Or that person, those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mannerisms.
Yeah. This can happen in your hands as well as your face. So, skeptics believe that Ouija boards only work because people subconsciously are answering themselves.
Yeah, like they're not really aware that they're the ones who are moving the planchette.
Just like people aren't consciously aware that they have a tell, but they do, allegedly. I don't know.
Yeah, like poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. To try to combat this theory, there was a test done where people were blindfolded and then used the Ouija board. And every single time the participants were blindfolded, they just spelled out gibberish. Which, I can't lie, at first, that had me really doubting the validity of Ouija boards. But if a spirit is channeling through the participant, to the point of that the participant can't fully protect themselves from possession, like that net that we were talking about.
And they could be spelling out a spell.
No, I guess maybe, but that's not where I'm going with it.
Oh.
If you have to leave yourself open to a possession with the net, right? You picture the net, you have to leave holes so that good things can get in and basically possess you.
Yeah.
Maybe if you cover your eyes with the blindfold, you're covering the demon's eyes, and the demon can't, or not the demon, sorry, the spirit's eyes, and the spirit can't see through your eyes to see the Ouija board, so it can't answer. So it's like, trying to spell it.
Or maybe that's the only time you get a hold of the dyslexic and the illiterate demons or entities. Is when you're not looking at it. They're like, finally, my time to shine. Maybe. What's up, player? And you're like, what did it spell? And it said,
oh, maybe.
That's how I'm going to communicate. So just remember.
But yeah, I thought that was a super interesting question to that is, by covering your eyes and playing, are you covering the eyes as the spirit as well? So
That's
it's not proof that it doesn't work because it's just us subconsciously moving our hands. Is it that it can't work because the spirit can't see through your eyes? Because you can't be properly possessed for them to communicate.
Just like the end of that show last night.
What show?
Black Mirror, with them watching through the eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If she closes her eyes, they can't see.
Yeah, exactly.
The blindfold test is super interesting, but it doesn't negate the fact that people use the Ouija board and learn things they never knew. They sometimes even use words that they've never used before. You hear those stories all the time. Sometimes people will even say that they spelled out words that they've never known. Yeah, how can you explain that? For example, back to part 1, do you remember Helen Peters Nosworthy?
No.
She was the medium sister-in-law that named Ouija. She sat down and asked it, what do you want to be called? And
Yeah,
and then she's the one that had the Civil War era family heirlooms disappear, and she asked the Ouija board who took it, and it answered her, and she was like, there's absolutely no way that person did it, and it caused a rift.
Family divide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Ouija boards were just us subconsciously answering our own questions, why would she name a family member as the thief? Especially a family member that got her so upset that she completely swore off ever using Ouija boards. That doesn't make sense.
Because she subconsciously knew who it was. She just didn't want to consciously say, hey, it was him.
See, I could get behind
so
that.
then she felt guilty because at some point she still knew, hey, I still answered it. So there's a reason.
But remember, she was like an investor in Ouija, right? In the early days. Like, Ouija was a huge part of her life. So why would she turn her back on it?
Because back then, I mean, remember, there was a long time where people thought that bathing was the devil's work. Sometimes people are just knowing. I'm not saying that, Ouija doesn't really work, but I'm giving you an excuse of why people may doubt.
I guess. I don't think that she would make something this big of a part of her life and then,
I don't think so either, but there's going to be people that do. I'm sure there already are, but I'm just saying.
There was a study done at University of British Columbia like a decade ago by a professor that worked there named Sidney Fells. Basically, Fells gave a set of difficult questions to the participants, and they got the answers correct about 50% of the time. Then, they used a Ouija board and asked the same questions, and the same participants got the answer correct about 65% of the time. So that was a large increase of correct answers. Fells thought this proved the ideomotor effect is really behind how the board works, but I kind of think it proves that something else is really answering through it. Because how are you giving answers that you didn't know that you were just asked?
Because you already got it wrong the first time, so you get a second go and you have a better shot at narrowing down the answer.
So, now with all of that, where do you stand? Do you think Ouija boards are really a form of communication? Do you think they're evil? Do you think they're good? Do you think they don't work at all?
I think it depends on who's involved. I think there are people that, could potentially get some type of communication out of it. And I think there's people that do absolutely, whether it's intentional or subconsciously, move the planchette, especially in a bigger group setting. I think you get more skewed results than honest results. I think you have more likelihood of people getting bored and trying to force something to happen. And sometimes it's skewed, sometimes it's a mixture.
I think that's a really good thought. One thing I was kind of thinking about, do you think that, like you said, different people can get different results, and you know how, what's it called when somebody like accidentally causes a haunting and it's like their built up emotions?
Manifesting.
I think there was like a name for the specific entity. I don't know.
Uh,
But do you think that if somebody plays that shouldn't be playing and they go in the wrong mindset and they have this terrible experience,
like somebody who's forced into it.
yeah, that
That
it could be partially manifested? I'm not like trying to play like blame the victim at all. I'm just asking, could the mindset affect the outcome that much, do you think?
I think so. For me, I think that a lot of it is what you manifest, whether it's good, bad, real, live, dead, whatever energy that you're manifesting. It's what you're drawing in to kind of the point of a lot of the rules. It's what you're allowing. It's what you're drawing. What you're inviting. So yeah, you could be manifesting whatever energy you're putting out there. So if you're in fear and you don't want to do it, you're in fear that something's going to happen, and your intent in your head like something bad's going to happen, then yeah, you're drawing in that bad energy. But it's the same, like the way I believe it is the same as like time's not linear. You know, everything could be happening at the same time. Everything's happening. You can manifestation isn't changing your future. It's changing your perception of what's already happened and just shifting that timeline to now. So it could be the same thing when you do communication through Ouija.
That's fair.
Somebody's, not liking what's going on, so they're shifting the timeline to change the outcome, whether it's, a malicious thing or not.
Speaking of time is linear, though, do you think that the people that are, or the entities that are contacted through Ouija board, do you think they could be people in different dimensions? Like you're talking to your future self or your past self or you from another lifetime?
Like different linear you, different
or aliens?
Parallel universe type you. And like it's just multiple people just talking on the Ouija board. It's really never any dead or demon or anything.
Yeah.
It's just different people in different dimensions responding to each other. Like, dude, this person's wild. Like, I got this wild result. And it's the next person. Like, it's really you in two different timelines responding to yourself.
Yeah.
Like just two different parts. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Like a Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah, like you sit down, or a different version of you sits down in like the 1920s to play the Ouija board, and you in 2025 sit down to play the Ouija board, and you're just communicating with yourself.
Or just two of you from 2025, just different parallels, different lives that you've lived. You know, like how I said you manifest is just shifting your timeline like that.
That would be cool.
And it's one of you trying to communicate with the other you, and that one knows, and us right now, we're like, man, I just want to talk to my, something cool. I want to talk to some entity, and it's future you or you in a different timeline going, stop, idiot. Stop. It's me. It's just you. And you're the only idiot thinking something's really going on, and it's somebody else. It's always just that one dimensional of all of us going, we're the ones that answer the Ouija, and we keep telling you guys to stop, but you won't. And you keep going, maybe. That'd be fun. Rick and Morty episode for real.
And that's why sometimes the entities that come through spirit boards know things that only you know, is because it's you. Oh, I'm so intrigued by that.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun movie.
That's why sometimes people are like, I really don't want to do this. I'm not doing Ouija. It's because them in the Ouija universe is them now. Like, I'm here, dude. I can't do it. There's nobody going to respond. I don't feel comfortable. Like, because they've shifted. It's possible.
Maybe. That's a fun theory. But I do also love the idea that you could be communicating with aliens.
That'd be cool, too.
Yeah, or dolphins.
Oh, that'd be weird.
Scary.
Their blowholes are just creating those waves underwater, and it's responding to your Ouija requests.
Oh.
Well, that's all we have for today's episode of It's Always Anxious at Bedtime. No, that's not us?
It basically is. Thank you for joining us. This has been part 2 of our Ouija board series. Next week, we are getting deep, knee-deep into the nitty-gritty of scary stories, personal encounters. We have a pretty good mix. I've had a few people reach out on Reddit and give us permission to share their stories. We've had a ton of people on TikTok, Instagram, Threads.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we should have
Thank you guys for the response. That's dope.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So we should have some pretty good stories. If you are listening and you haven't told us your story, you can email it, you can DM us, you can do whatever, get us your story. If you message us.
Ouija us, let us know.
If you play with the Ouija board, don't Ouija us, but if you play with the Ouija board.
I don't think I'm going to respond, though. I think my Ouija self's in this universe.
Yeah. If you end up playing with the Ouija board, again, we are not telling you to, but if that is something you partake in anyway, you can tell us your story. And as long as it's before, what is it, like the 20th?
I mean, even if you tell us after that, we still want to know.
Yeah. No, if you tell us before the 20th, this upcoming Sunday, we'll squeeze it into this Ouija board episode. If you tell us after, or for whatever reason we don't see it until after, it'll definitely still get a place in a listener story episode.
Maybe not on our next episode.
Yeah,
though.
maybe not on the next one, but I will still for sure share it. If you've had any paranormal stories or encounters, if you've seen aliens, if you've seen Bigfoot, if you've seen
Any run-in with a cryptid, any ghosts, extraterrestrial, anything fun, exciting, like that, along those lines,
Yeah. I think my microphone just moved on its own. That was weird.
Oh, neat.
But yeah, email us your stories. You can find us on social media. We have a
TikTok,
Instagram,
YouTube,
Facebook,
Threads,
and I think that's it.
Gmail.
Gmail.
The world can be a scary place if you don't remember some, or if you're like me, any of the damn rules to this Ouija thing. Refer back here, though, because you're probably fine.
We're probably fine.
We're probably fine, right?
Yeah.
We're probably fine.
Sleep tight.
Don't be too anxious.